All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's very, very real. It's called post-hypnotic suggestion, and it's all about this wild idea that a simple instruction planted in your mind today can actually shape what you do way, way down the road. So, let's just get right to the heart of it, right? Can a suggestion someone gives you today actually control your actions tomorrow? I mean, really think about that. How powerful can a single idea be once it's tucked away in your subconscious? Are we talking about influencing you for a few hours, a few days, or could it be even years? Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get a clear idea of what a post-hypnotic suggestion actually is. Then, we'll look at the triggers and anchors that bring it to life. After that, we'll get into how to make these suggestions really stick and the rules you've got to follow to craft a good one. And you're going to want to stick around for the end because we've got a declassified story that's absolutely mind-bending. All right, first things first. Before we get into all the cool stuff, let's just make sure we're on the same page. What exactly is a post-hypnotic suggestion? So here's the deal. This isn't about some stage hypnotist making you cluck like a chicken right now. It's way more subtle. Think of it like setting a mental timer or programming an app for your future self. It all happens during what's called a trance, and that's just a state of super deep focus where your usual critical, overthinking brain kind of takes a back seat. This lets someone talk directly to your subconscious. The suggestion is then planted, ready to go off automatically when you hit a specific trigger. And here's the kicker. You often don't even remember why you're doing it. And get this, the lifespan of these things can be absolutely incredible. We're not talking about something that wears off by tomorrow morning. A really well-planted suggestion could just sit there, dormant but totally active for years and years. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Okay, so that raises a big question, right? If these suggestions can just hang out in your mind for ages, how do they suddenly wake up and do their thing? Let's dig into the psychological magic behind the triggers that flip the switch. You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think back to Pavlov's dogs. It's the exact same principle. You take something totally neutral, it could be a sound, a word, anything, and you pair it with an action or a feeling. Do that enough, and pretty soon that neutral thing isn't neutral anymore. It becomes the trigger that automatically kicks off that pre-programmed response. In the world of psychology, this trigger is called an anchor, and you experience these all the time, you just might not call them that. An anchor is any little thing your senses pick up, a smell, a song, a taste, that instantly zaps you back to a specific feeling or memory. You know, like how the smell of roasting beef might make you feel all warm and fuzzy thinking about your grandma's house? That's a positive anchor. Or how the smell of ouzo might instantly make you feel a little queasy remembering that one vacation. That's a negative anchor. Well, a post-hypnotic suggestion is all about creating these anchors intentionally. Okay, so we've got the what and the how. But just knowing the mechanics isn't enough, right? How do you make these suggestions actually work? And not just work, but work really, really well. Let's look at some of the strategies for making them super powerful and long-lasting. Now, this is a really important piece of the puzzle. If you tell your brain not to do something, like, don't think about a pink elephant, what's the first thing you do? You think about a pink elephant. It's the same with habits. Just saying, I'll find chocolate unappealing, leaves this void. A much, much better way to do it is to give your brain a new job. So instead of just trying to stop eating chocolate, you tell it, hey, when you see chocolate, let that be a reminder of how good it feels to eat healthy. You're replacing an old pathway with a new positive one. This next part is kind of sneaky, but really fascinating. There's this idea called the amnesia factor. Basically, if you can make the conscious mind, the part of you that's always analyzing and questioning everything, forget that a suggestion was even made, that it can't get in the way. It can't argue or rationalize or find reasons why it won't work. The suggestion just slips past the gatekeeper and gets locked in deep. Now, obviously, this only works for things that are meant to be automatic. If you need to consciously remember to do something, this isn't the way to go. Okay, let's get practical. If you wanted to actually create one of these suggestions, what's the recipe for success? Because it's not just about throwing some words out there. There are some very clear rules to follow. I like to think of them in two halves. First, you've got to build a solid foundation. And second, you need to make a really powerful connection with the mind. First rule for a solid foundation, keep it simple, like dead simple. Your subconscious isn't interested in a 5-point plan with sub-bullets. It needs a clear, direct, and unambiguous command. If it's too complicated, it's just going to get lost in translation. Rule number 2, and we've kind of touched on this already, be positive.
Frame it in terms of what you want, not what you don't want. The mind is a goal-seeking machine. Give it a target to move towards, like, I will feel calm and focused, instead of something to move away from, like, I won't be anxious. It's just so much more effective. And the final piece of our foundation, you have to be specific. I want to be more confident is nice, but what does that even mean? It's way too vague. But something like, the moment my hand touches the doorknob to the meeting room, I will feel a wave of powerful confidence. Now that is something the subconscious can grab onto and execute. It's specific, it's targeted, it's actionable.
Okay, so we've got the foundation. Now how do we make the connection? Rule number 4, use emotion. Think of emotions as the fuel for the subconscious engine. Logic is great for the conscious mind, but the subconscious speaks the language of feelings. By linking your suggestion to a powerful emotion, like joy or pride or deep calm, you're giving it a ton of horsepower. So, if emotion is the fuel, then rule number 5, visualization, is the GPS. You have to give the mind a clear picture of the destination. When you can vividly imagine yourself doing the thing, feeling the feeling, and getting the great result, you're basically creating a mental blueprint. It's like giving their subconscious a movie of the future you want it to create. Now, this is a really important one. Rule number 6, you've got to tap into an existing interest. Let's be clear, this is not mind control. You can't use this to make someone do something that goes against their core values. Think of it as an amplifier, not a steering wheel. It takes a desire that's already there and just turns up the volume, making it more powerful and focused. The more someone already wants the outcome, the better this is going to work. And our final rule, number 7, the suggestion has to agree with the person's identity. Your subconscious has a built-in security system. If a suggestion feels totally alien to who you believe you are, it's just going to get rejected. It's like trying to install software that's not compatible with your operating system. The suggestion has to feel like a believable, authentic upgrade to the person you already are. So let's look at an example that really nails all of these rules. From now on, every single time you're in any social situation, you're going to discover wonderful feelings of confidence radiating from somewhere deep inside you. See how it works? The trigger is specific. Any social situation. The language is positive. Wonderful feelings of confidence. It's emotive, and it gives you a clear image to visualize. That's a masterclass in crafting a suggestion. Okay, we've covered the theory, the mechanics, the rules. Now let's get to the really juicy stuff. For our last section, we're going to look at a declassified, high-stakes use of post-hypnotic suggestion that sounds like it was ripped right out of a spy thriller. So get this, declassified documents suggest that the CIA actually experimented with creating what they called hypnotic couriers. The process was just incredible. Here's how it worked. A person would be put into a deep trance and made to memorize top-secret information. Then, using suggestion, that memory would be completely sealed off behind an amnesia barrier. This person could then travel across borders, they could talk to people, they could even be questioned, and they would have absolutely no conscious idea that they were carrying secrets in their head. The information was totally inaccessible until their contact at the destination said a very specific, prearranged trigger phrase, and only then would the information become available. It's an absolutely stunning, real-world example of weaponizing the human mind. You know, when you see stuff like this, whether it's used for something as intense as espionage or for something positive like therapy, it just shows you the profound and honestly mostly untapped power that we all have sitting inside our own skulls. We literally have the ability to help program our future selves, which really leaves just one big question for you to think about. If you could plant one single positive suggestion in your own mind that would activate tomorrow, what good thing would you tell yourself?